Hello, I'm United States Senator Saxby Chambliss, and welcome to our weekly YouTube program. One thing you can do to allow me to stay in touch with you is to go to my official website, which is www.chambliss.senate.gov. And on that website, you have the opportunity to send me questions, which either myself personally or the staff will respond to you on. And we appreciate hearing from you and appreciate hearing your views on issues, and also appreciate getting questions from you on particular subjects. Today I want to take a minute to respond in this address to some of those questions. Number one, I got a question about the FairTax and the possibility of including a FairTax proposal in this debt and deficit discussion that's ongoing in Washington today. As a matter of fact, in the group of 6 folks that I have been meeting with over the last several months, I have brought up the FairTax on a number of occasions. Unfortunately, we have not gotten a positive reaction from the group. I frankly didn't expect one, but it just gave me another opportunity to express the reasons why the FairTax is the best option out there when it comes to truly reforming our tax code. What's going to happen is we're going to have someone in the White House who commits to changing our tax system and move to the FairTax. If we can get a president on board who believes in the FairTax, and I assure you we'll have a much better opportunity to get that FairTax implemented in the United States. I want to move to a question regarding when are senators and re-elected congressmen going to take a huge pay cut so that their salaries mimic the deep salary cuts the American public has had to swallow. Let me just say that I am deeply concerned about not just any number of Georgians who are without jobs, but also people all across the country, particularly those who are working hard to try to go back to work to provide a quality of life for them and their families. I am extremely sympathetic to that. As a result of what's happened over the last couple of years with our economy in the United States, we have frozen congressional pay. And in our proposal from the group of 6, in a bipartisan way, we have recommended as a part of that proposal that congressional pay be frozen for a total of 3 years. We've got to share in the sacrifice, just like we're asking you folks to share in the sacrifice to get our fiscal house back in order. We also have a question from Paul and Peggy Brown in Kennesaw. They ask, will you support John Boehner's cut, cap, and balance plan? Absolutely, I already have. I'm a co-sponsor of the exact same legislation that passed the House that's now over on the Senate side. Not only am I a co-sponsor of it, but I spoke in favor of it on the floor because I think it has an awful lot of positive ideas in it. It will reduce the deficit by $6 trillion over 10 years. It's a very tough mechanism to do that. But the best enforcement policy that we've seen in any proposal is contained in the cut, cap, and balance package, and that is a constitutional amendment requiring Congress to balance its budget every single year. I have been a promoter, a sponsor, and have voted for the balanced budget amendment every single time it's come up during all of my years in the House of Representatives as well as here in the United States Senate. I think it is imperative that if we ask you, and if all 49 out of 50 states have a balanced budget that you have to live within and that those states have to live within, that Congress also be required to live within a balanced budget. Unfortunately, Leader Harry Reid filed a motion to table the cut, cap, and balance provision when it got to the Senate, and they have the votes. So they were able to prevail, and the cut, cap, and balance was tabled on the Senate side without even giving us the opportunity for a full and fair and open debate on that issue. Please go to my website, and if you have additional questions you want to ask us, send those questions to us, and from time to time we'll respond to those questions in our weekly address like this. We are in very difficult times right now. We are in the midst of trying to decide whether or not the debt ceiling should be raised, and if so, under what conditions should it be raised. I have committed to my constituents all across Georgia that while I think it's important that the debt ceiling be raised so that the United States can pay the responsibilities and the commitments that the United States has made to people, whether it's checks going to Social Security beneficiaries or Medicare or whatever it may be, it's important that we use this opportunity as a leverage to secure deep spending cuts on the discretionary and the mandatory side, that we look at taking this opportunity to reform in the right way the entitlement programs. And I am not going to agree to raise the debt ceiling without some significant measures attached to it. That's going to be evolving over the next couple of days, and I urge you to watch very closely as we move through the House debate and the vote over there onto the Senate side, where the debate will be much the same as it is in the House. And I don't know what the outcome of the vote is going to be, but I think it will be interesting to you to see the debate on both sides of the aisle with respect to this issue. Even after we get through this debt ceiling crisis, we still, as a country, are going to owe $14.5 trillion. What a staggering figure. A figure that not many of us as Americans are even able to comprehend. Trillions and trillions of dollars that we have spent over the last several decades that now have us in a very, very deep financial hole. It's important that we get our arms around that debt, because I have 2 children, 5 grandchildren. It's very important to me that we make sure that we leave America to that next generation as the same great America that we inherited. If we're not careful and we don't get our arms around this debt, then we're headed down the same track as Greece, Italy, and some other European countries that have suffered disastrous financial consequences. That's not what America is all about. And what's going to happen is we're going to have not just deep reductions in spending. We're going to have to reform the entitlement programs in this country. And we're going to have to figure out a way to energize the economy, allow corporations to pay less in the way of money through taxes, regulations, and other measures that will truly stimulate the economy and encourage them to create jobs and put Americans back to work, put Georgians back to work, and create those new jobs that will broaden the tax base in America, and we can see revenues increase. We need to increase revenues through increasing taxpayers who go to work, not increase revenues by raising taxes as some have indicated. So we are in very difficult times, but it also presents us with an opportunity to come together as Georgians and as Americans, to be willing to share in the sacrifice and participate in getting this country's fiscal house back in order, getting this country back on the right track to make sure that the greatest and freest nation in the world remains that way for the next generation. Thank you, and God bless you.